Hello everyone, welcome back. Tom with KFO Fetish. Today I'm going to talk about 40 stellar fourth album releases. No ranking involved, just sporadic choices from over the decades. I'm going to start it off here with a great album from 1967 from the Byrds, Younger Than Yesterday. This album spawned a couple of hits. My Back Pages, the Dylan cover, one of their best covers. You have So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, covered by a lot of people, Patti Smith, Tom Petty. But what I really love here are the really deep cuts. Have You Seen Her Face? CTA 102, Renaissance Fair. There's a lot of great new elements to the Byrds sound, a lot of new country sounds like Time Between and Thoughts and Words by Chris Hillman. Has one of the best David Crosby songs ever on here, Everybody's Been Burned. You've got The Girl with No Name. It ends with the flip side of 8 Miles High. Why? The only dud on here is Mind Gardens by David Crosby. They should have just taken that out and probably thrown in It Happens Each Day, another track from these sessions. But otherwise, one of the best Byrds albums. Incredible melodies, just incredible vibe. Younger Than Yesterday from 1967. Let's move on over to 1981. For the Police's Ghost and the Machine. This is my favorite Police album. And this too spawned a couple of hits, Spirits in the Material World and Everything She Does Is Magic. I love the deep cuts on here. My favorite being Invisible Sun, Demolition Man, Omega Man. Just great stuff on side 2 that you don't really hear much. And I think this is a great departure from their previous album, Zenyatta Mendata. Let's move over to 1970 for Traffic's John Barleycorn Must Die. This is a fantastic record. Every track on here is amazing. This is probably my favorite after the Mr. Fantasy record. Starts off with the instrumental Glad, great stuff. Freedom Rider and Empty Pages, just solid cuts. Side 2, Stranger to Himself, and my favorite track, the title track, John Barleycorn, just an absolute epic folk rock classic. Great album here, John Barleycorn Must Die from 1970 from Traffic. Another just phenomenal fourth album from 1971 is David Bowie's Hunky Dory. For me, this is his first 5-star effort. Starts off with Changes, just one of the greatest ballads. Oh You Pretty Things, eight-line poem. Life on Mars is one of his absolutely great songs. Cooks and Quicksand, all on side 1. Side 2, you have the campy Fill Your Heart. You got Andy Warhol. You got Song for Bob Dylan, Queen Bitch, with that kind of Velvet Underground, Sweet Jane kind of riff. And then it ends with the Bewley Brothers. One of Bowie's best. He was just on a roll here, from here to Ziggy Stardust to Aladdin Sane, just 3 epic albums in a row. How about 1985's Tim from The Replacements? They just switched over to a major label at this point, Sire Records. Before that, they were on Twin Tone. This is a solid record from start to finish. Sometimes I don't know if this is my favorite or Let It Be is my favorite. It has some of my absolute favorite songs of all time. Swingin' Party, Kiss Me on the Bus. Side 2 is just incredible. Bastards of Young, Left of the Dial, Little Mascara. Ends with Here Comes a Regular, one of Westerberg's greatest ballads. 1985's Tim from The Replacements. Great fourth album. Another great album is from Fairport Convention from 1969, Liege and Leaf. This is their best album, in my opinion. Their last album to feature Sandy Denny on vocals. You've got Matty Groves on here, Kamal Yee. Just in a plethora of great folk rock, British traditional folk going on here, incorporated into the songs. You've got great guitar playing on here from Richard Thompson. This is just a masterpiece folk rock album. Legion Leaf from Fairport Convention from 1969. We got the fourth album from Neil Young, Harvest, his biggest selling album, I guess, at this point. Hit number 1 on the charts. Spawned a couple of hit singles, Heart of Gold, Old Man. A lot of great deep cuts, Needle and the Damage Done, Words, Are You Ready for the Country? You've got There's a World, which is kind of an odd tune, but just a great follow-up to After the Gold Rush. I think After the Gold Rush is better, but this is a great album. And after this, he would go into his Ditch trilogy of Tonight's the Night, On the Beach, and Time Fades Away. Coming up next, I'm going to include this as a fourth album. Janis Joplin only released 2 albums in her name, 2 with Big Brother, but I'm including this, her final fourth album. Pearl, just a masterpiece. And it just goes to show you what Janis could have done after this. She could have sung anything. She could have sung the phone book. She was so amazing and adaptable at any style. You got Move Over, Cry Baby, one of her just absolute, just tearjerker, bone bare, heartbroken songs. You've got, of course, Mercedes-Benz, great little a cappella thing she recorded like a day before she passed. Me and Bobby McGee, written by Chris Christopherson. Solid record here from Janis, and too bad we didn't hear much more. There's some great live stuff, though, that you can pick up, some great live albums of hers. I think one is called Farewell Song, and of course, YouTube, a plethora of great live Janis clips. So how about the fourth and final album by the Smiths, Strange Ways Here We Come? The Smiths could have just kept going. They just kept getting better. The first album, Meat is Murder, Queen is Dead, and this fourth album stands up with anything they did, in my opinion. You've got some of their best songs on here, in my opinion. Death of a Disco Dancer, Girlfriend in a Coma, Paint a Vulgar Picture is a great tune, Death at One's Elbow, and then it ends with I Won't Share You. Really solid album. It just shows you that they could have gone so much further and done so much more, but this was the last, fourth, final effort from the Smiths. 1987. How about 1968's Bookends from Simon and Garfunkel? Great album. Side 2 is just a plethora of amazing singles and tracks. Faking It, Punky's Dilemma, Hazy Shade of Winter, Mrs. Robinson, At the Zoo, one of my favorite little ditties. And then one of my absolute favorite Paul Simon songs of all time, America. Incredible album, stellar. And their fourth album, Bookends from 1968. How about the fourth album from the Talking Heads, Remain in Light? Definite, just milestone album for them and music. Of course, it has Once in a Lifetime on it, but just a lot of just great songs. Cross-Eyed and Painless. I've always loved, what's that track here? Houses in Motion, one of my favorite Talking Heads tracks. Great album here from Talking Heads from 1980. And of course, Led Zeppelin 4. I think one of the tracks that doesn't get enough attention on this album is Four Sticks. I think that's a really great track. Great layered guitars by Jimmy Page, the acoustics, the electric, just chiming, and just great chord changes. Of course, it has Battle of Evermore, one of my favorite Zepp songs. I love Going to California, and of course, When the Levee Breaks. And Zeppelin 4, 1971. How about the fourth album by Sly and the Family Stone, Stand? Absolute masterpiece. Incredible album. I'll tell you what, some of my favorite tracks here. One of my favorite tracks on here is called Somebody's Watching You. Love that verse melody. Everyday People, huge hit. You've got You Can Make It If You Try. Sing a Simple Song is such a great, funky little track. An epic album from Sly, Stand from 1969. Steely Dan's Katie Lied, their fourth album and one of their greatest. Bad Sneakers. Black Friday, Rose Darling, Chain Lightning, Everyone's Gone to the Movies, Throwback to Little Ones, Any World That I'm Welcome To. A masterpiece, fourth album from 1975. How about the fourth Love album, For Sale? Great album that doesn't get enough attention. This came after Forever Changes. And I think it was recorded in 68, but it wasn't released till 69. There was some kind of holdup. Starts off with August. What's your song, or what's that song? I can't even read it. I won't even say it. I don't have my glasses on. But there's a couple songs on here that rank among some of my absolute favorite love songs. One is called Nothing, and one called I'm With You, and Singing Cowboy. Every track on this album is just great. He has a totally different band than Forever Changes. It's more of a four-piece rock and roll band. Some really great guitar playing on here. Always See Your Face, Inside 2, which was featured in the movie High Fidelity. This is a great love album. If you've never heard it, check it out. Love for Sale. How about the fourth Aerosmith album? And personally, my favorite, Rocks. Perfect name for the album. It rocks from start to finish. Just great, sludgy, dirty rock and roll. Back in the Saddle, Last Child, Lickin' a Promise. That song is just rocks. Get the Let Out, Nobody's Fault, Sick as a Dog. Every song in this album is just has that nice 70s analog sound, warm. I love 1970s hard rock albums. They're really warm sounding. Unlike all those 1982 metal or 1980s metal albums that are very overproduced. Too much drums. Everything is really well mixed here. The guitars, the drums, Tyler's vocals. Great, great album here. Aerosmith Rocks from 1976. How about the fourth and final Faces album, Ooh La La? Very underrated album here from 1973. You've got the title track, which has become over the years a huge, huge thing, Ooh La La. You've got some great just ballads on here, Glad and Sorry. You've got My Fault, Flags and Banners, Cindy Incidentally, great rocker. Just a great album from the Faces. Ooh La La from 1973. Of course, we have Tommy from The Who from 69. I'm of the opinion that this could have been maybe edited down just a little bit. There seems to be just a little filler on here. Underture, 9 minutes of Underture. We've already heard the melody from Sparks several times already in the album. They could have dropped that, but some of their greatest songs. Go to the Mirror Boy, always love that. Sensation, I'm Free, Acid Queen, Cousin Kevin, Tommy from 1969. How about the fourth album from Yes, Fragile? Great album. Probably one of my favorite. Nope, I'd say my top 3 Aerosmith songs of all time is on here. South Side of the Sky really takes you somewhere. There's a lot of great side things by certain members of the group. John Anderson does We Have Heaven. You've got Mood for a Day, just beautiful acoustic song from Steve Howe. Ends with the epic Heart of the Sunrise. Incredible album. Fragile from Yes from 1971. 1980s, XTC's Black Sea, one of their greatest albums. I won't go into this very long because I've featured this one almost too many times on previous videos, but just an epic album. Respectable Street, Towers of London, etc., etc. One of their best albums from their early days and their greatest rock album, in my opinion. How about a little middle of the road music, huh? 1965, Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, Whipped Cream. An album that I'm sure a lot of you have heard or grew up with. This is probably one of the first albums I ever heard in my entire life. My mom was spinning this nonstop as I was a toddler. A Taste of Honey, Green Peppers, Tangerine, Peanuts, all those songs. Just a great timepiece. Whipped Cream by Herb Alpert. Now, I'm going to go under, there was, for T-Rex, there was Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then they changed their name to T-Rex, so I'm going to go with the fourth T-Rex album here, Tanks, which is phenomenal. Great album here from 73. The single that was released around that time was 20th Century Boy. It's not on this album, but there's a lot of great songs on here. Mad Donna, Shock Rock. If I had my glasses, I'd repeat a few more titles. But yeah, it's just a great album all the way through. And his last really great album, Bolan's T-Rex, Tanks from 73. Graham Parker's fourth album, Squeezing Out Sparks. An absolute masterpiece. I've played this so many times over the years. Discovering Japan starts it off. It rocks. Local Girls was kind of a hit. Nobody Hurt You. You Can't Be So Strong. You Can't Be Too Strong. An incredible little ballad. Saturday Night is Dead. Love Gets You Twisted. Waiting for the UFOs. Don't Get Excited. Just an amazing album from 79. Something from 2011. I've really gotten into Ty Segall lately. Great independent, multi-instrumentalist, guitarist, just phenomenal musician. His fourth album, Goodbye Bread. I've just been listening to this lately nonstop. It is just so great. A mixture of kind of folk rock, psychedelia, some just phenomenal melodies. The guy is just an amazing, amazing melody writer. This came out in 2011. Ty Segall's Goodbye Bread. How about the fourth album from Jefferson Airplane, Crown of Creation? I think Surrealistic Pillow, After Bathing at Baxter's, this album and Volunteers are all just excellent albums. This one has a great version of Triad by David Crosby, which the Byrds originally did for Notorious Byrd Brothers. Great version sung by Grace Slick. You got the title track, Crown of Creation, which is one of their best songs. Just amazing track. Lather starts it off, real freaky little psych song. That's from 1968. How about a little jazz? Herbie Hancock, Empyrean Isles, featuring the classic Cantaloupe Island, one of the greatest jazz albums from 1964. How about 1968's P.F. Sorrow from the Pretty Things? I just got into this a couple years ago, and I just can't stop listening to it. It's just track for track for track. Even the bonus tracks are amazing, like talking about the good times, walking through my dreams. And then on the main album, Bracelets of Fingers, Private Sorrow, Death. It's a fantastic concept album, one of the earliest ones released. How about Tea for the Tillerman by Cat Stevens, great fourth album. Just a plethora of great singer-songwriter songs. Longer Boats, But I Might Die Tonight, Where the Children Play, Miles from Nowhere. Father and Son is on here. Wild World, big hit. Tea for the Tillerman, Cat Stevens. The fourth album by the Stones, if you were counting UK records, this is the official one. Aftermath, one of their great mid-period 60s albums. Great songs all over this place. I love the more deep cuts. I Am Waiting, It's Not Easy. Under My Thumb's on here, Don't You Bother Me. Mother's Little Helper's on here, which is great. It wasn't on the US version. Take It or Leave It, Think. Phenomenal album by the Stones. How about the fourth and final album by Jimi Hendrix, posthumous release, Cry of Love, featuring the beautiful Angel, Freedom Rider, or Freedom, Drifting, Easy Rider, Astro Man. Great stuff from 1970. How about the Yardbirds, Roger the Engineer, great fourth album. Always love that guitar sound on Over, Under, Sideways, Down. Some of the versions, the later versions of this have the single Happenings 10 Years Time Ago, but this does not. Has Lost Woman, The Nazar Blue, Jeff's Boogie. Every track is great. Kind of a pre-psychedelic album before psychedelic became the word. The fourth album by Procol Harum, Home, is one of their greats. Whiskey Train, About to Die, The Dead Man's Dream. I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure. Has the epic Wailing Stories. Just an incredible album. Great guitar playing on Whiskey Train by Robin Trower. How about the fourth album by Bob Dylan? Another side of Bob Dylan. He's kind of getting away from the protest type stuff, writing more surrealistic lyrics, more, shall we say, stream of conscious type stuff. On My Back Pages, there's some great stuff like Ramona, To Ramona. We've got the posthumous release from the Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach. Half of it's live, half of it is in the studio. Some songs recorded before Dwayne's death, some after. Has a beautiful song, one of his last songs he recorded, Little Martha, on acoustic guitar. You've got songs recorded after his death, Ain't Wasting Time No More. But the songs on side 3, I think, are my favorites. One Way Out, Trouble No More, Blue Sky's Beautiful. Just incredible album here from the Allmans. The fourth album by the Velvet Underground, Loaded with great songs from start to finish. Who Loves the Sun, Sweet Jane, Rock and Roll, two classics there. Head Held High, Lonesome Cowboy Bill, I Found a Reason, great doo-wop song. Ends with Oh Sweet Nothing, kind of sounds like The Dead. Every track on here sounds different. Every Velvet Underground album sounds different, and this is their last album, Loaded. The Kinks, Face to Face, their fourth album, amazing album. This is the first album that really featured Ray Davies. He's going from kind of more of a standard rock and roll writer to just this new kind of persona, writing character studies like Rosie, Won't You Please Come Home. Really great heartfelt songs like Too Much on My Mind. You've got more character studies, Holiday in Waikiki. You've got an incredible kind of Indian drone song on here called Fancy. Real milestone for the Kinks here. 1966, Face to Face. We got a couple more here. I've just really gotten into Blur lately. Their fourth album, The Great Escape, is incredible. I think if they had left a few tracks off this would have been just a solid 5-star album. Just amazing melodies and arrangements. From 1985. Another jazz album here, Night Dreamer by Wayne Shorter from 64, one of his greatest albums. Great album here on the Blue Note label. And the last one, couple more. We got Joni Mitchell's Blue. One of the greatest singer-songwriter albums of all time. Sometimes I don't even know what my favorite song is. There's so many. This Flight Tonight, California, Case of You. Last Time I Saw Richard, All I Want, My Old Man. I mean, it's just flawless from start to finish. And then last one is Genesis Foxtrot, their fourth album featuring the epic Supper's Ready. So there you go. Those are 40 albums, 40 stellar fourth album releases. If you have any to throw in the comments section, please do. Thanks for subscribing, all you have done so. If you haven't subscribed, please just press that button. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good one. Bye-bye.